So this week, as promised, Republicans who now control the House set up a new committee modeled after the famous Frank Church Committee of the 70s to investigate the FBI and the intel agencies, which are playing what appear to be decisive roles in American politics. Now, that's an offense against democracy. You can have a democracy in which government agencies secretly work to control the outcome. That's tyranny, of course. No decent person should want that. But Republicans, Democrats, rather than welcoming the scrutiny and the transparency, the sunlight, are responding with panic. Watch this.
Today, we have the first of their many demands on display. An open-ended investigation into whatever conspiracy theories may be headlining the right-wing echo chamber at the moment.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in strong opposition to H-Res 12, the Insurrection Protection Committee.
This is all about deep state nonsense.
Let's call it what it really is. The Republican Committee to Obstruct Justice.
Russia is one of our most dangerous adversaries. We're in the middle of a national security quagmire. And to undermine that through investigations of the FBI and Central Intelligence is going to be extremely dangerous.
The MAGA extremist fringe of the Republican Party will use this committee to push QAnon conspiracy theories and lies from Truth Social. They're going to use it to gin up fake investigations into non-existent scandals. I think we need to just start calling this the Tinfoil Hat Committee.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's verification right there. If you're wondering if the federal agencies, FBI, CIA, and a bunch of others are actually being used as tools of the Democratic Party to change political outcomes, now we know for sure. Because if you're a government official and you are panicked at the idea that what you are doing will become public, you're doing something wrong by definition. And it's not just the intel agencies whose behavior they want to keep secret. Democrats in Congress also don't want you to have any idea where the $100 billion went that we've sent to Ukraine.
$100 billion.
So we sent $100 billion to Ukraine,
$100
and then
billion.
Condi Rice,
I just get another book.
who's still talking about foreign policy in public, amazingly, announces this weekend that Ukraine is losing. Okay, so where'd all the money go? Well, you can't know
Just
that.
offsetting debits and credits.
Went to Zelensky and his wife. What'd they do with it? This weekend, Joe Biden announced that we're going to send still more billions to Ukraine this month.
Fuck yeah.
Today we jointly announced, you've already gotten copies of it, a statement saying that we're going to increase the support for Ukraine.
Sweet. Let's check out yesterday's. Or was it earlier this week?
The weather inside a Hyundai is always delightful. Let us show.
Tell America that your government is spying on you and coming after you.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. They always accuse you of the very things they're doing themselves. If there's one rule you can keep on your fridge, write it down, put it in your wallet.
It's like it's tactically
Of
designed.
the people in charge, it's that. They blame you for their sins every single time. The latest example arrived this week when we learned that Joe Biden, fresh from lecturing us about how Donald Trump was a criminal because he had unauthorized possession of secret documents, that very same Joe Biden himself had unauthorized possession of secret documents. But don't worry, it's not a big deal. Unlike you and that despicably orange Donald Trump, Joe Biden is a good person. Joe Biden is so virtuous he has transcended temporal law. It's not a crime when he does it. So that's the frustratingly familiar
Apparently the whole
headline
world's
from this
transcended
story
temporal
you've
law.
probably seen by now. But the details of the story are actually pretty interesting. So a week before these last midterm elections, Joe Biden's lawyers were for some reason rooting around in a locked closet in the Washington office of something called the Penn Biden Center for Diplomacy and Global Engagement. And while in that locked closet, Biden's lawyers found a sheaf of highly classified government documents. So the first question here is, why were Joe Biden's lawyers doing this in the first place? And we can't say for sure because they haven't told us, but it is weird. Lawyers don't typically search locked closets. Yours probably don't. But Biden's lawyers did. And we guessed they did because they
I didn't prove, and I found nothing.
The House, and with it, congressional subpoena power. So they were likely conducting a cleanup operation preemptively, trying to get ahead of a scandal they knew was coming. And of course, they hid what they found in that closet until after the midterm elections because there's no reason to influence voters too much with information. So there's that. And then there's the question of the so-called Penn Biden Center at the University of Pennsylvania. What is that exactly? The whole idea of an academic Biden Center is pretty funny. Joe Biden is a moron. He's always been a moron, even before the dementia. For decades in Washington,
And that's according to the
when he
CIA.
lived there, Biden was famous as the dumbest member of the Senate. People made jokes about it. So why would an Ivy League university name a think tank after a man who can't think and then pay him nearly $1 million a year for not doing anything?
Because you live in Canada?
Good question. Well, more on that in just a minute. But first, a word about classified documents. Now, this is not a partisan point, not attacking anybody.